some interesting things to say on the Pivot podcast. The first thing I want to talk about is what he said on the Pivot podcast. He said that you keep, success is given, it's not earned. And he explained very deeply why he feels that way, because he felt like there are certain actors that they get picked by Hollywood, and those certain actors and actresses are always constantly getting the best scripts, getting the best production, getting the best movies. All right. And then you have talented actors and actresses that they may get one opportunity at it, but then, they don't get that same love as somebody. And I'm not trying to throw words in his mouth, but if I had to figure out who he was talking about, I really think he was talking about Tom Holland and Zendaya. Okay. And I don't think Anthony Mackie is disrespecting them. And first and foremost, I don't have any proof on what I'm saying, but it seems like to me when you listen to the interview, he's saying like, dog, there are some certain actors and actresses in Hollywood. They continue to get the best roles, the best scripts. Okay. And people like me, we have to, scrape, and crawl to get a taste of this opportunity. And that's why he came with the term, success is not earned. I mean, success is not earned, it's given. All right. And I do feel like that's a Hollywood type of thing. And I also see it in other communities. I see it in the basketball world. I see it in the music world, where, you see this certain artist, and you're saying to yourself, why is certain artist getting all of this attention? Why is this certain artist getting all of this publicity? Like, no disrespect. I think Ice Spice, I like Ice Spice. She's very attractive, but Ice Spice lyrically wise couldn't hang with the best female rappers. So why is she getting these opportunities when she was in her bag? And I think it's because I really think what Anthony Mackie is saying, and I kind of co-signing what he's saying, that success is given, is not earned. And that's the example. And I think he's talking about Tom Holland and Zendaya. Not to say, he's not crapping on them. He's just saying like, damn, they just be in everything. And myself, I have to fight my way to get these opportunities. With these two actors and actresses, they're just constantly in everything. I don't have no proof in it. I don't know if what I'm saying is true, but that's the sense I got from watching the interview. You can go check out the interview for yourself. It's on the Pivot podcast. They talked about him about that. Then he talked about masculinity, male masculinity. It seems like society is trying to kill male masculinity. In other words, he's trying to say that society is not letting men be men. Men are supposed to be providers. Men are supposed to be protectors. Men are supposed to be conquerors. And he said, in today's world, today's society frowns on that. They look at that as a bad thing. And he talked about how he has. I didn't know he had kids. He has I think 2 sons or 3 sons, but he's always, constantly telling them, look, when you're a man, you're a protector, you're a provider. You look over the house. When I'm not at home, you're the man of the house. Okay, you keep an eye on your mother. You make sure the alarm is on. You make sure the other kids are. He's saying this to his older son. He's saying, you're the man. You're the man of the house when I'm not here. You watch over everything. That's like old school. That is taught old school. And I remember my father telling me that. And I just don't think that world exists now. due to, well, look at your, look at music, look at entertainment, look at movies. And I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. Okay, let me repeat that again. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but it seems like in the movie, music, and television world, they're saying, hey, look, it's great that a man can be a protector, but guess what? A woman can be a protector too. A woman can be a provider too. Okay, so they're trying to push something that doesn't exist in male masculinity, and that's why he thinks there's a death in male masculinity. Not a lot of people are promoting that boys should grow up to be men. Okay, basically what he's paraphrasing. So yeah, I watched the whole interview on the Pivot podcast. I think that was a good, solid interview. I watched it from start to finish. It's crazy how humble Anthony Mackie is. And the one thing I notice about Anthony Mackie versus anyone else, he doesn't have no expensive jewelry on. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. They said that he came right out the car, walked into the restaurant with no entourage, with no bodyguards. He's very humble. He doesn't let Hollywood big head him. He doesn't come off as egotistical. Man, I didn't know that about Anthony Mackie. Okay. I've seen him in movies and TV shows. I've occasionally seen him in a couple of those softball type interviews where they just ask him ridiculous stuff and whatever. But I felt like in the Pivot podcast, I got to know Anthony Mackie a lot better in this interview than any other interview. So great dude. I have no issues with Anthony Mackie. A salute, my brother. Keep doing you. But yeah, he talked about Denzel Washington. He had stories about Denzel Washington. He had stories about Samuel L. Jackson. He talked about how he wants to be later on down the road where Denzel and Samuel Jackson are right now. Okay. So yeah, he said some good words about Tyler Perry. Jesus, this dude wasn't no, hey, I'm here to sell something. I'm here to sell a movie. I'm here to sell a book. I'm here to sell some fashion. Okay. He came in there with a lot of stuff on his heart that he wanted to let the world know. And I felt like the Pivot podcast was a great vessel to do that.